I would say two key things. I think one is relationship building. I think it's really important, to be fair, at any stage of your career, that you spend a lot of time on building relationships around you, making sure you know who to ask the questions, making sure you sort of can openly talk about things and get the right support that you need, whether that is sort of peers within marketing or other people around kind of the company, the industry. So especially in my industry, we're FCA regulated, so you need to make sure you've got the relationships with the compliance team. You need to, or like more generally, you need to have the relationships with the technology and sort of the wider team, I suppose. All stakeholders really. And then the second part, I would say, is having a level of curiosity and wanting to learn and keep on top of things. I think if you've got a natural desire for that, you need that to keep up with everything. Everything's changing so quickly that if that's not at the forefront of your mind, you're going to be behind. You can't just do what you've always done and expect to still sort of get through. So in the industry that we're in, we are offering services to lawyers. In order for them to instruct us, they have to be at a certain level in their career. So therefore, you can already assume that they're in a certain generational group. What we've been trying to do is be more forward thinking with our messaging to make sure that by targeting that group, which obviously is what we want and the outcome, we need to think more longer term, because the next generation that are coming up, that will be the people that are instructing us in a few years, are very different, and we're changing our messaging to reflect that so that it doesn't sort of turn them off from us, but equally that we don't lose our current audience, and we're trying to sort of evolve in that way. I think it's not an easy thing to do when you are trying to juggle both things at the same time. But I equally think it's very important not to neglect that next sort of generation. So it's really important to keep that holistic view in mind. And although you might be focusing your efforts on a specific channel, those people on sort of that channel that have interacted or have been targeted by your campaign are likely to see you in other places, and you need to make sure that the message is replicated and is complementary wherever they see you. It can't be jarring that they've seen you on one channel and then they've seen something else and it's quite different messaging and it's not the same. So I think that's why it's really important to keep it. It's really important to have really clear objectives from the offset of what you want to achieve, so that you can then refer back to them and have those as your measurements, rather than, I suppose we probably don't have the luxury really of just doing things for the sake of it these days, but having really clear objectives, and whether those are numbers, but also sort of how easy is it and quick is it to use that technology, I think is really important. So in terms of measuring that, I think that's one area that you shouldn't neglect, is how are you getting on using that technology? How are your team getting on using that technology? I know we've made a shift recently from one platform to another just because it was really difficult to use. It had all the bells and whistles. It could do everything that we wanted to do and more, but we were just struggling and wasting so much time to use it because it wasn't that user friendly. And I think that's a big part of it. You need to take that into account, because even if it's delivering at the end and doing what it needs to do, if you're wasting a lot of time, energy, resource and goodwill as well, it's not going to work for you. And that in itself is a good enough reason to change your technology. And I think that in terms of sort of increasing what you're getting out of it, I think don't be scared to speak to the account manager or relationship manager or success manager or whoever it is that's providing you with that sort of technology, that software, and see what you can do. Keep on top of the advances that they're making. I think, again, it's not enough for a lot of technology companies to just offer what they've offered you and that's it. So a lot of the time there will be more sort of like increases in technology, increases in functionality. So yeah, keep going back to it and reviewing how you're using it and what you can do and how you get more out of it, and speak to those teams and get their support in that.